Okay guys, I'm finally talking about it. The Hammond Collection INDOMINUS REX situation. Hey guys, I'm GarrytheGremlin, but I can't deal with that now because today we're finally taking a look at this Hammond Collection INDOMINUS REX. It may be just the humble opinion of some lowly YouTube toy reviewer, like that means anything, but I think the INDOMINUS REX is one of the, if not the coolest dinosaur in the entire Jurassic Park franchise. I say dinosaur in quotes because the INDOMINUS REX is about as much a dinosaur as a Shih Tzu is a type of wolf. We're talking unparalleled levels of horrible dinosaur breeding and genetical experiments to create a hybrid this ugly and weird. Hey, there's a good joke for you. What do you call a zoo with only one dog? Well, for starters, you could call it a more successful zoo than Jurassic World. Their dinosaurs done broke out because this slippy bastard. The Indominus is so cool to me from a design standpoint, as well as an exploration of deeper film themes. Hold on to your butts, because before we get into the toy, it's film major time. That's right, you're not watching this video for dinosaur toys. I've lured you here so I can talk about a movie I like. That's the Gary the Gremlin secret. None of these videos are about dinosaur toys. They're all about movies. From the start, the Jurassic franchise has been a parable about the dangers of unchecked power and unearned reckless achievement. The best scene in Jurassic Park, the original movie that is, isn't the show-stopping T-Rex breakout or the climactic raptors in the kitchen, it's this dinner scene right here. This thoughtful discussion of the ramifications of unethical science is so powerful, and it remains relevant today, and will only get more and more relevant as people continue to do the stupidest things possible in the pursuit of money. Hell, it's 2026, and they're in phase 1 of building real-world Skynet, just for the fun of it. The themes of scientific hubris mixed with chaos are the foundation that everything in Jurassic Park is built on. Seriously, here's your little Film 101 homework for today. Next time you pull out your trusty VHS player and pop in Jurassic Park, really think about this and take note of every single time it happens. Every detail in every scene can be traced back to either of these two themes: hubris and chaos.
Where's that damn fourth Chaos Emerald?
In almost every single scene, something is going wrong or something is amiss, and it's all able to be tracked back to Hammond's bliss-free, unchecked pride and ambition. For example, the start of the movie. A dangerous, and mind you, expensive raptor is brought in on a forklift?
Bruh.
That animal cost millions of dollars to make and it gets a damn forklift? Why not just give them a forklift certification while you're at it? There's not a proper road for the forklift to drive on neither. It just has to smash its way through some trees.
Hey, I'm going to the store. You want anything?
Tree.
And finally, some poor guy in a Devo suit has got to climb on top of the cage of the extremely killer dinosaur to get extremely killed by the extremely killer dinosaur. This is a horrible system, and don't think for a second that it wasn't all intentionally designed to be flawed by the extremely talented filmmakers. And yeah, that's just the opening scene. The rest of the movie is also like this if you haven't seen it. You may roll your eyes and type a comment about Gary the LARPer overanalyzing, but this is all in there, I swear. Every moment with the engine company, they're fumbling it completely. Hell, even in this shot I was just using as background footage, the landing helicopter risks damaging the fossil site. Our first proper introduction to engine in the film, and it's them risking destroying the work of real scientists. God, Jurassic Park, it's the best film ever made.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
And that's why I still love the INDOMINUS REX to this day.
Huh?
By the year 2015, though not in the films, there had been plenty of Jurassic franchise hybrids. So many that I even own a few. Go check out this fun Halloween special if you haven't seen it. Anywho, most of those hybrids had been silly.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
But not this one. The Indominus Rex, or by her full title, the Verizon Wireless Indominus Rex, was the first true franchise moment to really return to Crichton's original two themes from his novel. Listen, I like the sequels, you like the sequels, but every sequel since the original just copied those original themes of chaos and scientific danger, and they just kept it simple, and they were dumb aura-farming dinosaur movies. It's whatever.
Mom, I threw up.
I love Jurassic Park 3 a ton, but it's not a smart movie.
Alan.
Indominus Rex is the eventual and predictable outcome of Jurassic Park's dire warning. She's the unstable genetic monstrosity, which is the end result of unchecked power and ambition. When Rexy and Blue look at her, they've got to be actually terrified, right? The Indominus Rex has got to fall in the dinosaur version of the uncanny valley. I mean, she's the dinosaur equivalent of a skinwalker. Combine that with the very heavy-handed satire about her being a licensed product, and you've got a really interesting starting point for your Jurassic sequel. Way more innovative than anything done in one of the Jurassic sequels before. For these reasons, I love the Indominus.
So cute.
She's scary, she's cool, and she's very poignant. And for those reasons, this figure is one of the biggest disappointments of the line. Typical Gary the Gremlin, huh? A third of the way into the video, we finally get around to talking about my wife. I mean the figure. The Hammond Collection INDOMINUS REX. Yes, that's what I meant. She comes in this big old box. Looks nice. No complaints here. The True FX logo is as redundant and ironic as always, but I will admit that this blue background is growing on me. Looks especially good here with this gal, as it reminds me of the original Jurassic World Hasbro packaging. How unfortunate that the similarities with the Hasbro-era Jurassic World toys don't end there. Should mention, I'd feel like a bad YouTuber if I didn't, I opened this queen live on my channel. If you don't want to miss out on any of my monthly If you don't want to miss out on any of those semi-monthly live streams, make sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications. You also don't want to miss the reviews of the rest of this wave. We'll be looking at the Dilophosaurus and the Hypsilophodon soon enough.
What?
In said box, there also came this set of alternate hands, as well as this big old chunk of dino meat. And here, the problems already start. Usually I complain about too many accessories because I think they often end up padding out a budget for no good reason. But I am also a massive fan of alternate hands. Including some swappable hands aren't really going to inflate a budget too much and can be really great for getting varied and dynamic posing. And that's why I'm so confused about these alternate hands, which look nigh indistinguishable from the regular ones. You get two of these ones, which are slightly more closed, and then two of the other ones, which are just slightly more open, with maybe just this finger here extended out a little tiny bit more. They're so similar looking that I get them confused half the time and can't tell them apart. Actually, the easiest way to tell them apart is the color. The more open hands are conspicuously much browner. Just look at them side by side. This level of brownness, it will be an ongoing problem with this figure. But hey, I've gotten great use out of her open hands, using them to hold my balls. What, were you expecting something else? You thought that joke was in poor taste. She can also use these alternate hands to play with herself.
Oh my god!
Nothing weird going on here. nothing at all. These hands can really easily swap by just pulling them out of the joint, though I still have to wonder why Mattel bothered to include these when they made them look so similar. I would have much preferred some sort of splayed hand for any of the many times in the film she walks on all fours, or maybe a tightly curled fist, or really anything besides slightly open and slightly more open. It feels so redundant, it's ridiculous. It gets worse, however, with her other accessory. Also included is this big chunk of Indominus's shoulder, which is another great idea. One of the more iconic moments from my wife in the film is when she claws out her tracking implant in an effort to escape the feds. She's so real for that, I love her. Then there's that bit where she goes camo, jumps out and goes, "It's camo time," and proceeds to camo all over everyone. Absolute cinema. It does feel a little goofy, however, that this accessory is around 90% larger than it should be. In the movie, as that poor ACU dude picks up the implant right before he gets absolutely stomped on, the chunk of flesh and included tracker is about the size of, like, twice his hand. Big enough that he can hold it easily in one hand. As for the chunk that comes with this figure, well... That doesn't seem quite right, does it? The clear tracker itself is about the size of a 1/18th scale human's head. But I suppose if the hashtag big chunk was much smaller, Mattel would have to put something more drastic than this 3 and up warning on the back of the box. That's right, Mattel aims to create the most premium adult collector line. But they also won't make features accurate to the film because it could be a choking hazard for ages 4 and up.
Oh my god, bro.
I'm getting mixed signals here, to say the least. You guys know I don't give a pro compsognathus's ass about premium collector stuff. These things are all toys, and I think it's dumb to call them anything else. But since Mattel does really try so hard to market this line as a high-end collector thing, it's weird when they make concessions to make it more toddler safe. Can you imagine if Transformers Masterpiece simplified a figure so they could put an 8+ on the box? No, it wouldn't make sense. I feel a similar way here. If you're going to make a product targeted at adults, at least stick to that idea. See it through all the way, right? However, all that aside, the tracker and wound are done really well. There's so much cool and gory painted blood detail inside the wound, and the tracker has got this really cool translucent plastic to really sell the effect. It's easy enough to pop out of her back by pulling on this unassuming large spike, and it also sits satisfyingly flush when placed back in. A great gimmick, implemented well, it's just way too big so it ends up looking a little silly. Less like she clawed it out and more like she got hit by an anti-aircraft missile or something. Well, I've spent a ton of time, possibly too much, talking about the accessories and not the actual gal herself. As far as the actual Indominus, this Indominus is most clearly a little rough looking. She's seen better days. This isn't prime Indominus in her peak physical condition. Hardly. This is Indominus maybe 2 or 3 seconds before getting ocean manned by a hungry Hawkman. Starting with details, there's a lot to talk about. Oh no. That's just the most positive way I could say it. This really is a shit show, to be honest. Well, first you got your fundamental problems, and then the more surface level ones. It's like Dante's Inferno, there's levels to this hell. Fundamentally, the proportions are just all out of whack. It's truly like whoever was in the design chair was just guessing. The head is far too wide and just generally oversized. The neck should have much more of an S-curve to it. The arms are about the right length, but far too bulky and muscular. And same deal with the legs and tail, just way too thick and generally circular shape. I'm not exactly sure of the comings and goings of Mattel's inner workings. Good lord, I'm happy not to know of it. But I think the design team has changed, and you can see the effect over this whole wave. The very foundations of this Indominus need a complete overhaul to fix what's gone wrong here. As for the more superficial details though, there's a lot that needs fixing as well. We already talked about how thick her head is, but on top of that, these Allosaurus-esque head crests look completely wrong. They're way too large and chunky. In truth, it once again reminds me of that old Hasbro one, and the way that toy's crest looked all wrong. Now, first place for worst teeth of all time is still probably going to have to go to your average British citizen. But second place might just be this Indama Mama. She got crazy bad teeth, and not in the screen accurate way, just in a bad way. God, these ridiculously long hot dog wieners in her mouth look terrible. Let me tell you about a wiener I want to put in her mouth. Whoa! What did he say? That's crazy! He said that! What? This is one of the most bewildering design blunders on the entire gal. Mattel has made plenty of Indominus Rex figures. So many. And the last couple all had rubber teeth that looked so much better than the ones on this figure. They're about twice the length they should be, and oddly circular as well. I was not kidding when I said hot dog teeth. That's exactly what it looks like. The only slightly redeeming thing these teeth have got going for them is what I believe to be the first instance of a Hammond Collection figure with properly weathered teeth. There's a bright red wash over them, which is so brutal and messy. I love it. Doesn't save them from still sucking, but that's a surprising amount of gory detail for a figure dubiously rated for kids 3 and up. There's also this sort of strange looking pink gum situation happening here in her gums. Let me just spoil the articulation here a little bit and open up her jaws so you can take a peek. The detailing and paint in the mouth is a little flat and underwhelming, but then on top of that, there's this weird pink shading that gets far too prominent at the back of her mouth. Looks like weird pink lipstick, not realistic mouth detailing. There's also a small tear here in the rubber gums, which has been reported far worse in other copies. On top of all of that, the mouth fails to even properly close.
Why are we still here?
No matter what you do, she's gonna always have a little bit of a gap because these mouth halves don't really align that well and they won't stay flush. I was so confused by this, I thought there must be something wrong with my copy, and there must be something stuck in there, so I checked, and oh?
Hello there.
The only way to get this mouth breather to properly clap her trap is to get some tape or some blue tack to hold it in place. But then that's just a temporary solution. And yeah, that was a couple minutes straight of pure problems, and that was just with her head alone. This is why this video took so long to make. I hate making the ones where it feels so negative the whole time, but good lord, Mattel gave me a lot to work with here. And we're just getting started. The next major issue, and probably my biggest one visually, she's too brown. No, oh my god, not this again. You know that's not what I meant. Taking a look at the on-screen Indominus, she's definitely not pure white. Even if that is the color Masrani says as he sees her.
Was white. You never told him it was white.
There is also a lot of gray, with lots of accent colors happening as well. Rather clearly though, the accent gray is much more of a blue gray than a warm gray, and that's also the most anyone's ever said the word gray in a sentence. But this Hammond Collection figure is so skewed towards the warm gray side of things, she's practically brown in some spots. Look at these hands. Now, usually I love a brown Indominus Rex. Once again, those little brown Indominus Rex that I love. Hello there. But when trying to go for a screen-accurate look, this is all wrong. In addition, these hand claws are also completely unpainted, which is so insanely lazy. I mean, there is paint on them, but it's not the color of her claws, it's just the paint from her hands brought up to cover the nails as well. Her nails should be gray, but here they're just kind of brown. Really amazingly lazy. My poor Indominus. My favorite evil hybrid done so dirty. The first Hammond Collection large carnivore to simply not have painted nails. I would be sincerely embarrassed if I were Mattel to release something this unfinished. And if those hand claws were unpainted, you know the Dew Claw had no chance. No surprises there, completely unpainted.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no.
Still, there's small glimmers of hope here and there. every once in a while there's some small detail I do like. I'm very glad that Mattel hardly skimped at all on these sort of bumpy quill knobs the Indominus has got all over her. She's got them properly on her back and forearms, and they're done well with rubber, and most of them are painted. It looks good and they feel fun to handle. And as far as sculpt work and detail goes, I don't really have much to complain about. I really like how the size and direction of the scalation feels informed by what part of the body it is, as well as where the wrinkles of skin are leading it. And though I hate most of the brown paint, there is a lot of it. It's nice that Mattel still put lots of paint on this figure, even if it turned out for the worse. I do really like the bright white on her underbelly and on her neck, that looks great, as well as this very crisp white here on the back of her thighs and the front of her snout. Very confusingly, this seems like the right color for the whole figure, no? This nice bright white dry brushing over the darker gray plastic looks fantastic. It looks like what the Indominus Rex should look like. I love this part right here, it's great. Why is it just in these two spots though? I'll never know why Mattel makes the decisions they make, but I will continue to stare at the back of the Indominus Rex's thighs, since that's her best angle. No, wait, I didn't mean it like that. You gotta... All these problems I've just spent minutes of my valuable life detailing are immediately obvious just looking at her. So this reveal really took the little Jurassic World collector community like a big mean tropical storm. That Beyond the Gates reveal video was hilariously clowned on, even by yours truly. I'm human too. We gotta spread just a little hate sometimes, come on. Brave move on their part to keep the comments on, yikes. Even still, with all these glaring issues, there's been a lot of silly comments I've seen from people desperately huffing Copia. Over and over I keep hearing, "No, Gary, it's based on the Camp Cretaceous Indominus." Or, "Just be thankful we even got an Indominus. If you don't want it, send it to me." Or even, every once in a while, "Gary, if the paint's so bad, why don't you just paint it yourself?" And you know what? I will! That's why I bought 2 of them. I'm gonna go into credit card debt, but hey, at least I'll be the proud owner of 2 Hammond Collection Indominuses as the bank repossesses my house and Gary Mobile. First thing I'm doing on that second copy is attempting to shear down the teeth in order to have proper looking non-hot dog teeth. And then, maybe we're giving it some awesome deco that I have yet to decide on. Maybe a cheeky little camo one? What do we think? Let me know down in the comments below. It could be nice to do that Jurassic World the Game level 41. Wow. I know, ball. Whatever I do, I can tell you, I'm not doing a brown one. I've already got that. Anyways, it's still undeniable. Even with all those problems, this figure still has some impressive shelf presence. The size of her is definitely what gives her any bit of aura, and is also the main reason I think anyone would be interested in this figure. Even with all the issues I've listed so far, and then other ones I'm yet to get to, it's hard to seriously hate a gigantic action figure of one of the coolest Jurassic franchise dinosaurs. It's hard to, but I still manage. Standing in this sort of default neutral pose, Hammond Collection Indominus Rex measures just about 10 inches tall to the top of her back, and at my best guess around 26 inches long. I'm guessing because I spent the last of my savings on 2 of these, and I had not one measly cent left over to buy a tape measurer. 26 inches long means that she's actually larger than both the T-Rex and the Spinosaurus, though the Giganotosaurus still reigns supreme as the largest Hammond Collection carnivore, as it likely should. God, psychologists should probably do some sort of study on how I went from being the biggest hater of that figure to its #1 glazer. Love that guy. Starting with the usual size comparisons, we've got my trusty Action Master Grimlock, Gary the Godzilla, the Council of Raptors, and some 1/18 scale human buddies. Next up, the Hammond Collection Atrociraptor Ghost, low-key looking like it could be the Indominus's long-lost baby, the Hammond Collection JP3 Ankylosaurus, the Stegosaurus, the T-Rex, and last, Nanmu Studios Smart Series Berserker Empress. The Indominus Rex we deserved, but not the one we need right now. And it is really cool to see her with some of her other Jurassic franchise dinosaurs. You know, I had to have her and Rexy fighting. It's just cinema. It's natural. Oh, interesting. Okay. Last major thing to cover is her articulation, which is, big surprise, another rough spot. She has many joints, but the ranges on them seem much worse and clunkier than other Hammond Collection releases. I will preface this, for the sake of being fair, in 90% of the cases on this figure, it's totally because all these sculpted spikes. That's just part of the design, and nothing makes a joint harder to move like a series of bumps that get exactly in the way of doing that. So really no harm there. Starting with the head, we've got that opening jaw I showed a little bit earlier. Like most Hammond Collection large carnivores, it's got the great double jointed jaw, so the bottom can open separately from the top. Rather infuriatingly, the tongue can move, but only upwards. What? Huh? How did this even go wrong? You tell me Mattel got this right on the previous 4 large carnivores and just randomly shat their pants on this one? God, I need a Triceratops-sized aspirin for this. So yeah, the tongue can move, but it can't go downwards, so she just has to perpetually lick the roof of her mouth like a dumbass. There's a big ball joint here at the back of the head, which can move a little bit all around and then swivel really well, and same for the one at the base. Maybe I've just been spoiled by Nanmu figures recently, but these joints feel extremely limited and super loose. Keeping this sad posing time train chugging along, the shoulders can go out really well, full swivel, and then the elbows hinge and swivel with a great range. Wrists are great as well. Nothing more I could really ask for. The thighs can sort of spread. The motion is there, but it's really more of a wobble, so they don't necessarily keep their place. Let me tell you, they can rotate all the ways around though, full 360. Look at them go. The knees have a decent bend as well as a full swivel, and the ankles can bend and swivel as well as the feet. I honestly thought I had dodged the inevitable quality control problems, but turns out that it just barely nicked her. This ankle cannot move for the life of me. For the life of her as well. I've tried a hairdryer, I've tried boiling it in hot water, I tried an X-Acto knife to trim down the plastic, and I tried praying to Raptor Jesus. I even tried sacrificing to Raptor Satan. Still, no luck. This joint will not budge. It's not the worst thing ever, and I bet you didn't even notice it throughout the whole video, but this ankle is just stuck forever like this. You can see here, even trying to bend it threatens to snap the leg segment above it. Scary stuff, and not really what you would want on a $60 figure. Last up, the tail is on a big old ball joint, plenty of motion there, and then the tail is on a bendy wire, though don't bother using it because this rubber material creases so much and looks so terribly ugly. Overall, the articulation is certainly a bit rough, just because how stiff it is. Like I said, most of that is a result of these spikes which limit the range of the joints, but I can't help feeling like some of it is also just poor engineering. That tongue articulation is just so frustrating and confusing, and oh my god, don't get me started on that tail, it's a whole nother thing. Even the slightest bend to it causes these ugly ass creases, and I can't stand them. It looks horrible. You know what's funny? If this tail was a lot thinner, like what the actual Indominus looks like, or even what the render on the box looks like, there'd be less rubber to crease, and the figure would look a hell of a lot better. Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. I mean, we got a major 2 birds with 1 stone type shit right here. Tail would pose a lot better and look more accurate if it was thinner. Oh my god. I know many of you will be upset with me that I didn't love this figure, but let me tell you, it was not from a lack of trying. I'm the biggest Indominus fan in the world. I've even been to her house in person. Yeah, think about that. Look, here's the photo where I met her. They say never meet your heroes, but they're wrong. The Indominus Rex was awesome. You should have seen the wedding ceremony, it was great. I talked about it in my super duper boring film analysis earlier, but the Indominus Rex is the perfect fulfillment of the original themes this franchise is rooted in. She's also extremely cool looking and really scary, and that's why this figure is such a disappointment to me. This figure could have easily been so much better, and it could have easily been the best figure in the line. Most of the problems here are entirely cosmetic. They'd be easy problems to change. A bit of proportional tidying up here and there and some better skin routine, and she'd be great. But as is, this figure is a massive disappointment. Last thing, as is tradition, I need to add her to the tier list. How do I rank my wife on a chart? Right? Seems impossible and juvenile even, but we're gonna do it anyways. Part of the deal. If we're ranking her purely off accuracy to the on-screen Indominus, she most surely belongs in a low tier. I was tempted to send her to F tier purely for how much of a disappointment she is and how much wasted potential there was. Yet, my deep personal connection with her won through, and she got bumped up to E tier. She doesn't really even deserve it, I'll be honest, but hell, that's love for you. Makes you do silly things. Do I hate the Hammond Collection Indominus? Nah, no way. She's still my #1 girl, even on a bad day. If you've made it so far, thanks so much for watching. This was one big old video. You know the deal, if you're not already subscribed, you are missing out. Hit that button so you can see all my future uploads. No matter how infrequent they are.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Sorry about such a big delay between my last video and this one. In my real life, the non-Gary the Gremlin life, I happened to move last month, so there was a lot going on. Sort of bittersweet that this is going to be the last video filmed in the house where I've made most of my content. But let me tell you, the new setup, it's gonna be amazing. If you really like this video, help your favorite gremlin out and leave a comment below with what you thought. Also, definitely leave a suggestion for a repaint in your comment. I'll be taking notes for the future. Also, make sure to like this video and share it with a friend since that helps me out a ton. Alright, I'll see you next time. Gary the Gremlin, out.